When I painted the painting Gratitude, I was inspired by a box of vegetables that was left on my doorstep, for which I was grateful for. So I wanted to paint the box of vegetables and the doorstep, but also the idea of it being washed up from the distance. So I set out to paint the effort, and I'm not completely happy with it. And the reason is that I have the perspective all wrong in the steps. I've got the perspective all wrong in the veg box. I do have some sense of perspective in that you can see the veg box is coming in from the distance, but the actual box itself is wrong. So if you look at this picture here, you can see where I went wrong. It was in the shape of the veg box. Now our problem is how to draw a vegetable box and get the perspective right. So first of all, I'm going to draw the front of the veg box, which I saw when it was at the top of some steps. So it's roughly about my eye level. So I'm just going to click on this here. And I think we'll draw an oblong and we'll have it an orange colour. So I'll put the oblong in here. So that's my eye level. Now we want to put in the perspective lines. So this is in the middle and it's probably this point which would be where we would have a vanishing point. So I'm going to draw in the perspective lines here. So first of all, I will grab my line. I can make it a thin line like that. Make it a thin black line. So this is going to be one of the perspective lines, and I'll just do another one here. And this is the other perspective line. Now we can draw in the rest of the box. Now to do that, I'm just going to grab a line and I think I'll make it orange so you can see it, and quite a fat line as well so we can see it. So the sides of the box will follow the perspective lines. So I'm going to do it there because it's a bit of an oblong box and leave it there. And I'm also going to grab a line for the other side as well, which I think probably take it from approximately here. There we go. Like that. I'm just going to put that in there. Doing this by eye, so I might have not quite got it right. There, oh, that's not bad. So that's the back, and that's the rough shape of the box. Now we also have to think of the sides of the box, the corners of the box. So I'm going to put them in here. Now, if we think about it, as you go further back, it's going to get smaller. So the side of the box won't be as big as the front side here. It's going to be smaller, and I think it's probably about half the size. So I'm just going to put in the side of the box here. Yeah. Now, and that's going straight down. It's a vertical line. And I'm going to do another one here, which will be straight down, a nice vertical line. So that's the side of the box. We also have to consider that the box has handles, and it has handles at the front, which I shall draw in first. I'll draw the front handle. And this is the front handle will be here, like this. Make it quite big. And it'll be horizontal here. So that's the front handle. And there'll be one at the back. Now, the one at the back needs to be a little bit smaller because it's further back. And it needs to be roughly the same sort of distance. So that handle there is about a third, a third, a third. So this handle here at the back is going to have to be roughly about a third of the back side. So I'll see if I can do that. So that's the handle at the back. Might be a little bit too big, but we'll leave that for now. And you could actually do it much more accurately by measuring all this up, but I'm just doing this by eye. Now, the other thing about the box is that it had triangles at each corner to act as reinforcements. So I'm going to add those. Now, the ones at the front are fairly straightforward. Now, you have to remember that the triangles will be at right angles and right angles to the corner. So it's going to look a bit like that. Now, hopefully this bit here is a right angle. And similarly, like that. So hopefully you can see that that's a bit of a right angle there. So the side has got a right angle like that. Now we've got to do the triangles at the back, and in this case it's quite a bit harder because they're going to have to be smaller triangles like that and like that because they're in the distance. Now all we have to do is rub out the bits of line that we don't need. So I'm just going to get the eraser tool. And this line here that we don't need for the handle. The reinforcing parts of the veg box came down this way here. So let's, and like that, and you can see that that's the reinforcement. Oops, and you can see I'm keeping that as completely at right angles. There. And so these are the reinforcements on the box. These are the corners of the back of the box. These are the handles of the box. And these are the sides. Now I haven't done the rest of the sides because it's going to be full of vegetables. But hopefully that will give you an idea of how I should have drawn the veg box.